It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS.
I wanted to ask you about the realities of architecting a business in terms of, like, as you know, in our industry, most of the people that come to Huge Convention, they started bootstrapping. They didn't really know what they're doing. They're a good technician. It was the classic E-Myth version of a business.
Right.
And they learned as they went. But you've had that level of experience now. And so I'm assuming, from the beginning, you set the structure out in advance and said, this is what it's going to look like. And you designed it rather than letting it evolve. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, Map to a Million was kind of the spark of the idea. And it was actually, by the way, it was the idea that my wife hated. Because I'd sold the service business. Conquer was doing really great. It was growing, and I was like, "Babe, I think I want to start another service business again." She's like, "Please no, please don't start another service business again," because All Clean was, man, we went through a lot of pain and suffering through that journey. It was not easy by any means.
Yeah.
But I kind of laid out some frameworks and some ground rules for what it was going to be and what the purpose of it was, and some of the rules of engagement was, I was not going to answer any phone calls from day one. I was not going to do any of the work in the field from day one. And I wasn't going to do any of the sales either from day one. So the only thing that literally I was doing was taking Conquer's Basecamp library documents, private labeling them, so to speak, for Wise Coatings, and just set up my marketing, admin, production, sales, and executive drives. All the systems were done from day one. Mm-hmm. And then just pretty much at that point was just hiring people. So I hired 3 employees from day one, 2 technicians, one that would eventually become my production manager, and full-time salesperson / admin. From day one, and kind of set that up, and then just basically just started opening up the throttle on the marketing and just pouring leads in. So it was fun. I did it with an intentionally small amount of working capital, which I don't recommend doing, because even though it was a fake threshold, it was still very real, because I was publishing all these things every week that we were doing something. I was publishing those videos. So I was like, this is going to be a colossal, thing that's going to blow up, and I'm going to run out of cash, and I'm going to have to talk about it. And we squeaked by with $50 in our bank account, wow. Getting off the floor going.
That sounds like great budgeting to me. That sounds like
yeah, that's perfect. Or maybe it's Parkinson's law in full effect. Maybe that's what it actually was, fully exemplified. So it's been an amazing journey, and it's been hard. I'm not gonna lie. It's been really, really challenging.
Yeah.
And about month 4, when I kind of published Map to a Million and started kind of launching it out there, I had so many people reaching out how do I get a franchise? Are you going to franchise this? What's this? And I'm like, yeah, we're going to franchise it. And, and then of course you are humbled ridiculously quickly when you realize just how much that decision actually meant, and how, much extra work that was. And fortunately got a really great business partner to kind of help me come in and run that. But I've learned a lot on the franchising side. Boy, let me tell you, it's been crazy.
Yeah, no kidding. That's that's an animal that most of us know nothing about. In the industry.
Me too.
Yeah.
Knew nothing about this going into it. I did not do a whole lot of research. I was just like, that sounds like a good idea. Let's do this thing.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sid. I think you had one lined up there.
I'm loaded with about 5 questions. You go, Dan. It's your turn.
I'm curious. When you're running a franchise and you're the franchisor, it's still a business, right? And your customers are franchisees. So how does running a franchise system, give us the compare and contrast? What are the nuances and the goofy differences of having your customers be those franchise owners versus your customers, Sue, who is a homeowner that needs a new garage floor?
Yeah, it's a great question. The part that has surprised me the most is, one, it's really expensive to set up a franchise. It feels like the attorneys and the government agencies,
I imagine,
make the most amount of money in a franchise organization.
Yeah.
So, you have to pay these fees in all these different states, and then there's renewals and there's auditing. With the franchise, you have to publicly audit your books. And you have to publish them in publicly available documents. So you guys could go right now and find Wise Coatings FDD, and you could see exactly how profitable the business is. You get to see how each one of our franchisee units are doing, and we have to publicly disclose those in order to advertise some of those numbers in that FDD item 19. So there's all these new regulatory things that hit a lot of red tape, how you can talk about things. And honestly, like as much as it sucked, I really kind of see some of the wisdom in it, because there is a lot of bad actors in the franchisor world and have been over a period of time, to where there needs to be kind of those protections in place, for people that they're, because it's a substantial investment to start a business up. But at the end of the day, the customer part of it, being our franchisees, has been, I think, one of the most rewarding / terrifying things, because with Conquer, we provide everyone resources and systems and things, but at the end of the day, they have to implement them and they have to put them in place, right? You can give them all of it, but until they put them in place in their business, on the franchisee side, like, we're putting a lot of those systems in place. So there's also like a lot more pressure to make sure that it all delivers exactly how you say. And that caused us to kind of like jump up in units and then take a pause and just like regroup and regather and really make sure we had it dialed in before we started adding more units on.
Hey, what's up, business nerd? Thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you learned a heck of a lot watching that episode. Do me a favor, subscribe right down here. And if you really like what you saw, you got more goods right here. Check out this one or check out this one and do this. Go subscribe. Appreciate you. Work smarter, work harder, go earn yourself some pride. Catch you on the next one.